Hi Reddit. Here to vent, so expect a half angry rant about my family who is as toxic as they come. After reading about so many of your experiences with your families, I must say, mine can hold the trophy for being in the top 10 most toxic families ever. What they did to me was unexpected and hurtful, and after that, simply expected me to move on and stay normal. That's not how it works. I have a twin sister, and although we are not completely identical, we have been told that we look the same. Our body structure, hair, and even facial structure are very similar to one another. So it's not unusual for someone to mistake her for me. And this gave her a huge advantage. Over the years, she had done everything possible to frame me for things that she did. Initially, she attempted to save herself from the scolding by framing me, but over the years, she expected me to listen to every word of hers, and if I didn't, she'd threaten to frame me for something bigger and make me regret my words. Of course, this was not okay at all. I wasn't going to simply tolerate this. My parents played zero roles in everything because they always favored my sis. She was younger than me by 2 minutes, yet she got the special younger child treatment all the time, and I was fed up. Even when I tried to get them to help me, they just dismissed everything. So I did something that'd change our appearance. I dyed my blonde hair black. So for the next couple of years, life was better. My sister had always loved her blonde hair too much to dye it, just to spite me. So that's one thing, and the other was different colleges. There's no way I'd go to the same college as her. And there I met the guy I'd marry. We were so in love, and after college we decided to tie the knot. Of course, my entire family had varying opinions on this, but I went ahead with my choice. We got married and things were working fine for the first year. After that, we started having issues and there were arguments at the time. But what worsened it all was the arrival of my sister. She was not happy at the fact that I was married. Had a good job and enjoyed life while she was struggling to get a job to pay her bills. But what she did was unforgivable. So there have been times when someone would say that they saw my husband and me somewhere, and I deny it because we never went there. This had happened plenty of times to be thought of as a misunderstanding, but never did I think that it was probably my sister. One day, as I was returning home, I heard the angry voices of my sister and my husband. I was taken aback at hearing her voice in my house. In the middle of their argument, I arrived home to find my sister wearing clothes just like mine with her hair all dyed black in a pathetic attempt to look like me. I looked at them questionably. My sister yelled at my husband saying it's all over anyway, so he better go ahead with the truth. I was confused. Or you could say that I didn't want to see what was in front of me. My husband tried to explain that it was nothing, but my sister was quick to the point that they were dating for over 6 months now. She said that if I didn't trust her, she could always show me their vacation pictures. She added that my husband obviously wants her and not me, so we should get a divorce. I knew that our marriage had its flaws, but something like this was very unexpected. My husband just stood there, silently agreeing with my sister's words. I asked her why she was all dressed up like me. She laughed in my face and called me a fool. She said that this helped her blend better into the neighborhood and nobody would suspect them. Then she said that I should really just agree to the divorce instead of disrespecting myself so much. And for once she was right. So I stormed into my room and started packing my bags. She had zero regard for my situation. That was the most hurtful day of my life. So 3 years down the lane, and I was so done with it all. I was divorced and happy. I went no contact with my sister and my ex-husband after this thing. My family didn't think that to be necessary and said that I overreacted, but I knew in my heart that I didn't want to be in contact with her. My family seemed to not even see what was happening and just believed everything except for making my sister look like the villain. After the divorce, my life wasn't as good as it is now. I had to take therapy, which was a whole emotionally draining journey for me to move on. But now my family is pressurizing me into accepting her back in my life. They want me to reconcile with my twin sister after what she and my ex-husband did to me 3 years ago. They really expected that I'd be so willing to just forget and forgive, and when I refused, they got upset. I told them that they should be thankful to me for not filing a case against them back then on the grounds of adultery. I didn't do anything for my parents' sake, but as I could see, it was clearly a mistake. As for my sis, she and my ex-husband dated for about 4 months before calling it quits. And for this, she attempted to end my entire marriage. My mom simply said that it was all on my husband and I made a mistake by choosing the wrong man. She said that although what my sister did wasn't very ethical, I got to know my husband's real face because of her. She said that he'd anyway cheat on me and at least I didn't have to take any embarrassment as it was my sis. That's what her view was on all of it. They urged me to fix things with her, and as I kept on refusing, they even went ahead and gave me an ultimatum. They said that they'd not give me my inheritance if I refused to listen to them. I was so annoyed at these words and realized that they were not just being like this, they were being manipulated by none other than my sister. So I tried to talk to my mom about it, and she said that she simply wanted her two daughters to get along well. I assured her that I'd do that and waited for my opportunity. My sister, who's living in a different state, is soon coming over to my parents, and I plan on exposing her completely. My parents think that my ex-husband manipulated her into getting in a relationship, which is a huge lie. But I am confident that I'd expose her. I have to. Update 1. Hey guys, thanks for the supportive words. It has been a trip nonetheless. If I'm being very honest about things, I have had several thoughts about leaving my family. The way they just give me an ultimatum without even trying to understand the hurt that my sister caused makes me want to barf. But I understand that they are gullible and are being manipulated. All of this is happening because my sister wants me out. She wants the entire inheritance for herself. She has been here for 2 days and her behavior is clearly a pretense, as I can see. But I am not going to just let her do whatever she wants this time. She tries to provoke me as much as she can so that I react and she can manipulate my parents into giving her the entire inheritance. So I have been trying to beat her at her own game by being equally pretentious for now. I recently got to know from my mom that my sister had made a whole scene in front of my family to prove that what she did was not at fault in what happened 3 years back. This was the reason why everybody trusted her and believed that I misunderstood her. She went to the level of making fake reports about her mental health, so I have planned what I'll do very carefully. I'm just waiting for the right moment. Update 2. Hello everyone. The cat's out of the bag. Yes, I executed my plan and it went amazingly. So here's what I did. And before I share that, please don't judge me for this. My sister has been dressing up as me and impersonating me for a long time now. It was my turn to do the same to her, so I dressed up like her. It was quite easy to fool people because both of us have not been living with one another and our families for a very long time. It was hard for anybody to differentiate between the two of us except for our clothes and hair. So I dressed up like her and told everybody that I, my sister, was still in love with my ex-husband and wanted to marry him. I, my sis, said that this is why I, my sis, wanted to be here so I can take my blessings. As soon as my sister saw this, she went crazy. She started saying that it was not her but me trying to impersonate her. I continued pretending to be her and told them that as a punishment for hurting me, I'd give away all my inheritance. As I kept going, she blurted out that she wanted me to lose my inheritance instead. That's when I stopped acting and she realized that she had been exposed in front of our entire family. This entire thing was very risky because what if things did not go according to plan? But scheming and plotting are my sister's forte. I did what I could, and I feel like the universe synced with me. I'm very glad about it all. I don't regret one bit of anything. Update 3. It's been 2 weeks, and I'm here to update you guys about my life. Things have been going surprisingly well for the first time in my life. After my sister was exposed so badly, my parents had a hard time accepting the truth. It was all in front of them, but it was very difficult as they had believed her for years. So, added to the hurt that my sister caused, there was a lot of guilt as well. They kept on apologizing to me for their behavior over the years. My mom had a breakdown and kept on saying that she felt so ashamed for not understanding the pain that I went through. They have also decided to disown my sister and give me the entire inheritance. My relationship with my parents has also improved a lot. Above all, life is better. As for my sister, she got exactly what she deserved. NTA, I can relate to your situation so much because I have a sibling exactly like this. Of course, not a twin, but God, the audacity of some people. You did the right thing. Never doubt yourself, and no matter what she does or says, never believe her. Ever. And be a little careful about everyone. Next story. I, 28, female, am living in New York City. I work primarily remotely, living with my husband, 27, male, who works remotely. He's in data security while I am in broadcast media. My job is easy. I work for a media company, and when I'm not remote, you would only see me online as needed. I would be in the office theater playing various sports or hanging out. Since we work in broadcast media, everyone has a TV on their desk in the office, and we would watch shows or sports while working. I make $128,000 annually, and I get travel perks, free streaming subscriptions, and great benefits. My primary responsibility is representing 5 clients on 7 networks, scheduling their ads and passing information to clients about these schedules as needed. Right before every quarter change, I have a busy week or two where the clients send me specifications. I book out the next quarter and share all the data with them. The rest of the time, I wait for email requests for various files or issues and pull and respond as needed. I don't have any meetings or calls for my job, making my schedule flexible as long as things are done promptly. I've taken on internal volunteer roles with various employee groups to fill my time during the days. My husband works hard and makes a lot more money than I do, and he's in the financial sector, so it's stressful year-round. I'll have maybe a week or two of my busy season 4 to 6 times a year. I work 50 to 60 hours per week compared to regular 10 to 25, and his busy weeks are 90 plus hours compared to the standard 50 to 55 hours. I never complain about how busy he is and try to leave him alone. But in our home office, I'll always have my headphones on and a TV show while I work or clean the apartment, cook while I work. He sits working on and off meetings, seeing me do this, and he's made comments. But the past week, he blew up as I was booking our vacation for this year during my work hours. We do the same vacation every year. I always offer to change, and I am always paying. Still, he says no. He loves what we do and wants to keep the tradition, versus trying a different destination, cruise, or another offering from my company. I was excited because I was booking us what would cost most people $11,000 for a 2-week trip for around $3,000. Also because it's during his birthday week. I booked a tour he has wanted to do for years. I thought he would be excited, but he was so angry. He stood up from his desk. He yelled at me saying I don't respect myself by having an easy job that allows me to do anything but work, and that I'm a simple person mentally and a blowhard a-hole for not wanting to be challenged or try a real job. He has gotten angry about a few other things I cannot control recently and left for his parents for the weekend. I've been with this company since I got my graduate degree, and I have taken 2 promotions in the same line of work while also changing clients and networks a few times. So it's not like I don't aspire for more. Edit to add solution. He will be leaving his position once the quarter wraps up and they bring someone on to replace him that he will train. It may be a few weeks before he is done with his job. However, the loss of my grandmother triggered something in him that he spent most of his young life grinding away at himself, working really hard, needing glasses now. Different things like that, and talking about her life where she survived World War II and Vietnam as a nurse, traveled the world, was one of the first women to receive the higher education in her state, as well as be allowed to study science, not only left a major hole in our lives, but pointed out to him how many hours of his life this job absorbed for money we frankly do not need. He doesn't want to retire completely. He wants to work, but he wants to work with a better perspective of the value of his time outside of work, and he is considering this retirement and looking to find a new job that brings him joy and me joy. Thank you to everyone for your advice. It prompted me to look at our budget and reevaluate our choices and allow us to make this decision together, and I'm so happy to know that it wasn't me. It was the crushing weight of reality causing this change in behavior and pattern, and hopefully it gets better from here. NTA, you have a job that is low stress and makes you a lot of money. That sounds like an ideal situation. Your husband is burnt out, but he needs to deal with that himself, not by belittling you. Next story. My dad fathered twin girls outside of my mom, and his marriage, which had a super hard effort on my mom, as she always wanted to have another child, but kept undergoing miscarriages after she had me. Ever since their birth, up until 2 years ago, I, 17 female, wasn't allowed any contact with my two younger sisters, and the only help my father ever gave to them was financial help. 2 years ago, my siblings' mother contacted my father and begged him to take them as she was no longer in a position to care for them due to becoming terminally ill. My father convinced my mom to allow him to take them, which my mom allowed because she felt sympathetic towards them. They were 12 at the time, but have now reached the age of 14. Ever since they came to live with us, family members from both my mom's and dad's sides keep making comments about how they look like an off-brand version of my name, or that I'm lucky that I'm blessed with my mom's genes. They are so disrespectful that they say this stuff in front of my sisters, which not only makes them feel bad, but makes me extremely uncomfortable. Yesterday night, we had a family get-together for a baby shower. During it, some of my family members, including my mom, were saying comments similar to the ones I mentioned before, in earshot of my sisters, which obviously made them uncomfortable. I bring it up to my dad, and all he did was shrug his shoulders and continue with the conversation he was having. So I took it upon myself to do something and told my relatives that comparing me and my sisters' looks, that it made my sisters and I uncomfortable, and I would rather them not talk about it again, especially at events where we're supposed to be celebrating. I'm not a confrontational person, so I was a little awkward asking them to stop. My relatives, especially my mom, did not take well to it and accused me of choosing my sisters over my mom and speaking to her disrespectfully. They started to raise their voices, which resulted in my grandma, dad's side, defending me and calling them all immature for insulting children. At the end of the day, everyone left early, and the baby shower was ruined, which ended up being blamed on me. My mom is really mad at me and has left to stay at her sister's place because of how upset she is. My dad apologized to my sisters and I for not addressing this issue early due to his own guilt and discomfort. I feel horrible about the whole situation and feel like I could have waited for a better time to ask them to stop. Was I in the wrong here? NTA, Mom, and other relatives are TA for being so shallow and cruel. Grandma nailed it. I'm glad your dad finally stepped up because he was being TA too. Hopefully, he'll do more to protect all his kids in the future. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.